I could not cope up with school. So I've changed like 13 schools in my whole lifetime, like in my childhood. So all these schools, all my marks cards, it's just CBD. Nothing much. But I was really good at just being with animals, understanding them, seeing them, understanding. You know, like I really adore them and I really wanted to know about them. But I didn't have a really good channel in school where they, helped me know what I had, or the school or teachers didn't see the potential of each child as an individual who could do something of his own.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lalith Dhanush show. Today I have with me a very inspiring person. His name is Surya Sagar and he is the national level WBC Muay Thai champion. Right now, he's ranked at 19 across the world. Surya is also the only Indian fighter to win at Max Muay Thai, Thailand. Watch this entire episode as he talks about his journey in this specific martial arts form, and I'm sure you will get a lot of amazing insight into it. Welcome, Surya, and it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Lalith. Nice to be here, and yeah, it's going to be a great show, I think.
So, Surya, the first time I met you, I know it was a very unprecedented time that I met you, but I was super curious because in India I have never met anybody professionally into the MMA sport until I met you. So tell me, how did you get into this journey of Muay Thai and where did it all start?
For Muay Thai, it's still a growing sport. So we don't have too many champions, but yeah, we are getting some. And I think this is a start to a Muay Thai journey right now.
Okay.
And this belt is actually WBC, in full form as World Boxing Council. So basically World Boxing Council you would have seen with Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali and a couple more boxing guys, which is boxing basically is just hands. So this is actually a WBC title for Muay Thai. Muay Thai is the art of 8 limbs.
Okay.
So we'll be using our fists, elbows, knees and kicks in this sport. So it's basically much more brutal way of using the human body weapon.
Okay. So, but now the danger level or the extremity of this sport is much higher than a boxing game, right?
No, I don't think so, because we have a lot more places to hit. It's
Okay.
not just the head we aim.
Makes sense.
Because it is very brutal, but we condition our body in a way where we are prepared to take shots. So we don't just aim for the head, we can aim the lower side of the legs, we can go down to the legs, we can go to the body, and we can use our knees, elbows, and we have throws. And it basically is a mix-up of a lot more things rather than just focusing
Makes sense.
on all our hands on the head, because boxing is basically full pressure on head and body, but the kill point is the head. And you might have seen Muhammad Ali went through Parkinson's because taking a lot of blows to the head.
Correct.
The main thing in boxing or any sport is hit and don't get hit. So we need to know how to defend ourselves and how not to get hit and fight offensively.
Awesome. Man, I have been watching MMA for quite some time now, and I also have a decent understanding of the boxing world. But as an Indian, this does not come into our bloodline. Like it isn't natural to consume a sport like this because we are more towards commercial sports like cricket and all of these things. Today, an Indian parent will say, if you want to become a cricketer, I'll send you to the best camp. I'll give you the money. You can let go of your studies. You can do whatever you want. But to even support somebody in this kind of a sport, many Indians don't raise their hand because of the risk part of it. I want to understand, Surya, how did you get into this sport at a very young age? And how did this go about?
The main thing was my dad. My dad's basically a film actor and he's an art director. His name is Arun Sagar. A lot of people will know him. And my mother is an artist. So she's an artist. She knows a lot more things in artistic world. So both of them are open-minded people. And my dad actually was, showing me a lot of fighting movies like, Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, a lot more movies of Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Van Damme. So it all became, an inspiration thing. But I never thought I would be a professional fighter in a long term. This one, because my main goal was to be a paleontologist and a herpetologist.
Oh wow! How did that change? Like, how did you know that? Okay, not herpetology. I'm going to this.
Because the thing was, I really wanted to pursue being in nature and being in wildlife, knowing animals, knowing my world rather than the world where I am right now. But the education system where I tried to gain the knowledge, I could not gain and cope up with the people or cope up with my classmates or syllabus, because I am dyslexic basically. So, and I was very slow in school trying to take down notes. And even if you see till today, I have my books which is incomplete. So, I couldn't keep up with them. And major thing was, there was nothing interesting going on in school, which was really fascinating me to be a part of school and learn something. The only thing schools do right now is just put in things into your head that you just have to by heart it and write down on an exam and then get your marks done.
It's not even about knowledge, it becomes about memory.
Yes, memory. Of course, that's what I told you, right? We are good with memory, but we don't have the knowledge to it.
Correct.
So, I could not cope up with school. So I've changed like 13 schools in my whole lifetime, like in my childhood. So all these schools, all my marks cards, it's just CBD. Nothing much. But I was really good at just being with animals, understanding them, seeing them, understanding. Like I really adore them and I really wanted to know about them. But I didn't have a really good channel in school where they help me know what I had, or the school or teachers didn't see the potential of each child as an individual who could do something of his own.
Yes, because the system is now trying to give you marks on 6 specific subjects and 60 different individuals.
Yes.
And then I think it becomes a loop. And one of the things that I also face, Surya, is as a teacher, a lot of parents come with their kids and they say, hey, listen, my kid is not doing well. I said, so what? At least he's learning about failure at a very young age, right? You're building his character there. If he's not good in this, put him into music, put him into art, put him into 10 other options which you haven't tried. For which I must say, the way you've moved on from your schooling as not your main part to actually get into MMA and things like this is absolutely beautiful, because not many parents would actually support you in that. Everybody wants their child to go get good marks, good degree, that safety net that they want to scale in. Tell me about how your parents dealt with it, because I'm sure your parents would have had certain troubles, would have had to take some hard decisions. What was the whole picture there?
First things first, if not my parents' open-mindedness, I wouldn't have been in any part of herpetology, paleontology or Muay Thai, because my parents were so much, they are more artistic people. So they had a very different mindset and a very different thought process, because they wanted their kids, to learn something different than any other usual kid. But, my mom basically helped me out with, changing schools, trying to get me into a different school. For example, Valley School, Prakriya Green Valley, which was a very different kind of approach to education. But still, I didn't have a chance to study in those schools, because they thought I would run away inside the forest in Valley School, because there was too many, they were in a forest area. Yeah. But yeah, my parents are the main reason I'm here today. Correct. Because if not them, I don't think any child would, get what they want. If they are not in a helpful way understanding what the kid wants, they will definitely not reach anywhere, help the kid go anywhere.
100%. And the first step is the parent recognizing that what is right for my kid. The second part is the individual recognizing for himself that yes, this is my cup of tea and this is where I want to stay. How did you realize that this is where you want to go forward, especially in Muay Thai, and considering there's not a lot of scope in India? How did you discover that one thing for yourself?
First thing was, as I told, my dad, showed me a lot of fight movies. That was a small bit which was in, a small spark which gave inside me, but never thought I would fight here. But as through time, when I changed schools, when I had bad incidents happening, when people neglected me because I was pretty much weird for them, because I was not and interacting with them with normal games, or they never took me into any games, because I was a guy who would always interact with insects, animals and stuff like that. So, at this particular time, I started feeling very lonely, and I started isolating myself because people always avoided me. It made me a very different person. You're like, hey, you're not a part of, you're very weird. You stay away. So this became something through course of time. When I changed through school by school, I dealt with this a lot more. And then I think I started developing anger, because I really started hating them. So, this started happening a lot more. I needed to put out my stress. So eventually at my 9th grade, then I went into Inside Academy School, where I met my friend named Shreyans Bandari. So he was my junior, and he was going for a kickboxing class in Jayanagar. So I got into the information. I said, I want to join in. So that is where I started off. And when I first started off, I felt relieved, because I was putting out energy, because I was not much of a fitness person. So I just put out everything, then this thing became like an addiction. The letting out that stress and that anxiety through training and sweating out became so much into me, and channeling all that anger, rather than me hitting people for, all my things were frustration and anxiety. It became something that I can do something in this sport, where, I can, really come up in this, using what I have went through people, because each person goes through, whatever bad scenarios and anything through people, where, it changes them completely.
Completely, yes.
You can take it in two ways. You rather stay in that same pocket and die in depression, or stay in that suffer in that loophole, or you take a choice saying that I want to prove something and put it in their face.
Yeah.
And even that changed, because I didn't want to prove anyone later.
It became about yourself.
Myself.
Yeah, and I think that is a very spiritual aspect of this game also, right? If it's Muay Thai, boxing, martial arts. Now for self-defense, you're a 10 on 10, but can you get better at the sport? Can you be better than who you were yesterday? And I think that becomes the challenge. And one of the most important things I feel, Surya, is also that, especially in sport like this or in life, you need coaches, right? You need somebody who can see something that you don't see, right? Somebody who can anticipate your opponent's move, which you might have not anticipated. That is the gift of a coach, right? So I want to understand who are some of these pivotal people, apart from your parents, who actually helped you gain the belt, help you understand the sport better, and what's the story about that?
So first comes the first gym where I joined. Rather than the gym where I joined, first thing I missed out was I went into a Kung Fu class in BNMIT school.
Okay.
So there was, as a PT, we had karate and Kung Fu. So my main thing, which I started off as martial arts, was Kung Fu. So Kung Fu was my base. Looking at everyone else in the movies and stuff, the school had Kung Fu, so I was attending Kung Fu classes and everything. This, got me into I think it was a bridge where it got me into this. Then later on, when I first went into Rock Solid Studio, that's in Jayanagar. So the main coach was Master Srinivas and Chandru sir. So these two were the main coaches who, leveled me up for the initial part of the time. Then after a couple of fights in Bangalore and Mysore, then I took it up as a profession. I said, I want to do this completely full time. Then my dad had seen a coach who had come down from Mysore in one of the tournaments which I was fighting, and his team was absolutely great than the rest of the team, to be honest, because he was much more technical and knew the game, and he knew how to tell his students what to do, because he had worked on them. So the main person was Vikram Nagraj, Crew Vikram Nagraj. So he is actually my godfather, I can tell you, because for the next I think from 2016 to 18, I was in Mysore. I completely shifted there, and I was under him at Academy of Martial Science in Mysore. So he guided me and changed the whole thing, because I was not so great first in the beginning, but when I went there for 3 years and when I was doing a lot more tournaments, I started knocking out people, which got a lot of attention of the association and people who were there. And then, so he was the main person where I grew my game up. Then after that, I went into Thailand. So by 2018, I went to Thailand. I trained in a couple of gyms, one in Chiang Mai and Diamond Muay Thai, then Sitmon Chai Gym and Phuket Top Team. I improved my game at Sitmon Chai Gym because I trained there for like 6 months, and they work on basics. It's an individual training process which happens there, and I kept on fighting, and that is the gym which gave me an opportunity to fight at Max Muay Thai Stadium in Pattaya. So as an Indian, there was only one person who fought in Max Muay Thai. That was in 2015. That was Abhimanyu Thakur. So he lost by decision. After that, I was the only guy who fought there. So they gave me an opportunity, and I made sure I take that opportunity in the right way. And I didn't even have a clue that I became the first Indian to win in that stadium.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a really mind-blowing experience there. And after that fight, I kept fighting like 4 more fights in Max Muay Thai. So I really thank Vikram Nagraj sir and Sitmon Chai Gym and all my coaches who put me here today, because other than them, I don't think I could have ever been here.
True. I mean, you need those kind of people who play a very pivotal and important role in your life. Also, Surya, one of the things that I understand is that awareness of a sport like this also has to come into the culture. And before the sport comes in, I think first fitness should come into people's mind. Like, I have to be fit, I have to be healthy, and then automatically the interest into the sport also will grow, is what I believe. What do you think about fitness? Now, you're a professional athlete, but what do you think about fitness? Do you think it should be done every day for everybody? What's your take on it?
Fitness has to be taken as a part of life. The human body right now is so weak. People are not able to cope up with a normal fever or a cold. They take at least 3-4 days. The body is taking a lot more time to adapt. So I think fitness should become a everyday process where the body has to go through stress.
True.
And has to build, what do you say?
One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time, and tolerance.
Correct.
Tolerance, and it basically helps the person not just through fitness but through mental status also.
Correct.
You get confident.
I think that's a brilliant piece of advice, Surya. And speaking of advices, today a lot of people are exposed to the world of MMA, to the world of UFC being one of the biggest banners in the sport. Yes. A lot of people are getting aware to it, and especially from our generation itself and downwards, many people know about it. If people want to get into this sport, what is that one piece of advice that you would give to possible teenagers or anybody who's watching this? What advice would you give it? The camera is on you. You can look at the camera and tell us what you want to.
So first things first, consistency, dedication, and make sure you work your ass off. Make sure you put in that work. Hard work pays off, basically. There's nothing else. Not just in MMA or anything. In anything, your educational, or you're doing something of your own, you want to do something, make sure you put in that interest. Make sure you have that interest to really learn what you want from everyone. Don't think that you're the only one who has learned everything and you know everything. Try to be an open-minded person to learn everything from everyone. Even a small kid will give you so many things. It doesn't have to. He doesn't have to give you. You can observe. Observation is key for our survival. So I tell you one thing: make sure you observe and absorb what you can, and level up your life.
Super, man. I think that speaks a lot of sense, and the working hard actually comes from you liking the game. You have to love it to work hard.
Yes.
Or you'll hardly work.
Definitely, if you don't have the interest, you'll be very lethargic. You'll be like, okay, tomorrow.
And that will be prone to injuries, and injuries will destroy your career. Now you have education, neither do you have a successful career, and now you're stuck in between, and the world will start looking, upside down.
Yes. But one thing I have to be very precise is that if you have taken something and you have done halfway and you have plan B, never take the plan B. Make sure you take the risk and go for plan A.
Yes.
Because there is no going back once you have already taken.
Stepped
For
in.
example, it's been 8 years since I've been doing now. Now I cannot go back, think I might have difficult times. I might lose 3-4 fights non-stop. But I cannot doubt myself and start thinking so much about myself, down about myself, where I start thinking of plan B.
Correct.
We have to take in the risks and make sure we keep going forward, keep moving forward.
True.
Because we should not think about other people's perspective. We should think for our own selves and work for what we like and what our heart says.
Very true. And I think movement is the only way forward, because the entire world is in movement. The earth's moving, time's moving, you got to keep moving. And if you don't, you're stuck. You're not adapting to what the world is asking.
Yes.
Right? So, Surya, now we've understood that you're very passionate about Muay Thai. You've told us about the game. You've told us about how you've gotten into the game and you've moved so far. Where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, 4 to 5 years or 10 years? Because right now you're 23, 24, you're in your prime, you're getting to your prime, I must say still, yeah. Now reflecting on my MMA knowledge, I know 25 to 28 to 30 is usually is the peak prime.
Peak prime, yes.
So you're entering that zone. What is up your alley? What is your dream? What's your goal?
So first thing is first, I want to make sure I have at least 200 fights before I retire or whatever it is. But my main goal is to fight in the most prestigious stadiums in Thailand, that is Lumpini Stadium and Rajdaram Stadium, because these are the stadiums where the elite fighters throughout the world come and fight there. It's not just normal guys coming and fighting there. It's the only elite fighters from Thailand and international fighters coming and fighting there, and it is a privilege to fight there, and it's one of the most prestigious places to fight. And after this, I would love to fight in so many promotions which is happening right now, like One Championship and Ballet or Kickboxing, and we have right now the WBC Contender Series which is going on right now. That is like right now I'm the national champion, but I'm ranked 19 in the world now at super lightweight category. Now I will be ranked for international title and world champion titles at this WBC Muay Thai Federation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to make sure I fight as many as possible in these promotions and make sure I make a big name.
True, man, and I'm sure you will, because with the kind of determination and with the kind of atmosphere and ecosystem you're surrounded with, I'm sure you will get there, because at 23 you could do so much, and now you're ascending towards your prime. And I can only imagine with all the right things available at your doorstep, how vicious and really good you could be at this sport. And for everybody who's watching, I mean, I think it's a heartfelt thing that I really want to say, is that don't just look at a sport by how many people are watching it. Look at a sport from the sheer passion, skill and knowledge level that many people are putting out. And man, Surya, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I, for one, am super inspired by your journey, because it's not easy from where you came from your childhood, to pick yourself up, do something that not many Indians would have actually claimed to do. And today, I think you're a role model and an example for a lot of people in our generation and in the younger ones to pursue this dream. And I hope in the next 20 years, we have many more fighters showcasing their belts and saying that I've fought in Max, I've gone to Thailand, I've represented India, and today I'm a world champ. I think you are one of those people who are paving not just your own way, but a big way for the country at large.
I might be a stepping stone and a gateway for Indian athletes to really take this sport. I can be an inspiration, an idol, because right now people are facing here is, can I take it? What if I don't succeed? They are not taking the risks. So if I take all the risk and move forward no matter what, so people can at least see that I've taken the risk, why not I take the risk?
True.
So they can take this risk and keep moving forward.
Awesome, man. I think you're a champion at life, more than the belt and everything. You're a true champion. A lot more has to be seen about you in the next coming years.
Yes.
Thank you so much one more time for
Thank you
for coming here.